And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another weekend edition of the Sparkling Tuna Cup, the STC week number 87. I'm, of course, your live VIP, and with me, I'm joined by these amazing players, by the people in chat, and by my plushies as well. Welcome, welcome, one and all. It has been it's been a week. It's been a week since our last Sparkling Tuna Cup, and also it's been a couple of hours since our last cast. It has been an intense day of StarCraft here. We were live earlier with the StarCraft Evolution King of the Hill. Of course, we were live earlier this morning, like 12 plus hours, almost 24 hours ago, with the Hatchery Cup, and now we are back. We are here with our weekly open tournament. Let's go, baby, let's go. With a very special edition, by the way, because for the first time, the Patreon has kicked in, and we have a boosted prize pool. Typically, our event has been very top-heavy, but starting from this week, we are going to be paying out top four. Top four players are paid out. Let's go, baby, let's go. This morning, in the top left-hand corner of Sandworm, we have our red Terran player representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Nicoract. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the Italian Protoss player, the blue Protoss, representing Bing Bong Exports. It is Azura. And you know what time it is? It is Gamba time. Predictions are now open. You can place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as you can get your Gamba going and place your bets on either our Terran or our Protoss. Let's go. Let us go. Once again, welcome one and all. This is our weekly open tournament every single week for many, many years at this point. We have been hosting the Sparkling Tuna Cup. I say that we did take like a year-long hiatus. There was a hiatus at a time, true, but now we are here. Now we are back. And again, thank you so much to all of our patrons. This event is funded by the people, for the people, via Patreon, of course. And we have reached greater and greater goals. And as a result, the prize pool is boosted, has been increased. Now we can pay out top four. It's amazing. It's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much, Papa. Thanks so much as we are jumping into our first series. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. The bracket is live. The bracket is stacked. The bracket is intense. And we even have some new names. We even have some new heavy hitters as well. We'll get into the bracket after this series. For now, going to be jumping in, going to be indulging in our Terran versus Protoss. So far, standard open. So far, everything's looking normal here. We do have a ranks expand, single gas opener out of Nicoract. Likewise, across the map, Gate, Cybercore into Nexus. Standard openers all around. Nothing crazy, nothing wild. But what is crazy, what is wild is the map. The map itself. Welcome one and all to Sandworm. Of course, we've been featuring TLMC maps for a month, for just over that, I think, as well. Featuring some of the TLMC maps whenever we can, and our tournament map pool here is a custom map pool. We have a couple of ladder maps and also maps like Persephone, Sandworm, and Last Fantasy. Oh boy. Sandworm, of course, being a bit of a smaller map, bit of a rush map, but there's a lot to get into. The first Reaper is going to be zoned away. Azura, he does hold on, he does keep up, he does defend. When it comes to Sandworm, the rush distance by ground is very short, that is true, but we have these dragon teeth in the middle. They're kind of like Neo-Violet Square. They're kind of like that kind of the pachinko machine with all those squares, but these cones, these teeth, if you will, are closely packed. They're a lot more closer here. It does limit movement from certain units. Certain units are too thick, they're too large. Others are small enough to squeeze on through, so that can impact some of the movement, some of the army movement specifically, and engagements here in the center of the map as well. So bear that in mind. For now, let's settle in. For now, let us settle in. Again, just calming down myself as well. Oh, good. But yeah, just excited to see a bunch of new faces for our tournament, as always, and our regulars as well. You know, it's not all about the new faces, but our regulars alongside them. But now we do have our initial scout here across the map with the Hallucination, confirming the 111, confirming the Hellion production. Hellions were spotted. We do see there's no crazy setup here for a Mind Drop, for example. Spots the add-on swap, so lack of medevac, lack of Mind Drop. It is going to be a Raven opener here out of Nicoract. Does move out with the Hellions, and we'll see if Azura can keep up. So far, nice SimCity. Shield battery on the way, does almost wall off that natural. Stalkers in position, and for the time being, the Hellion Reaper is going to be denied entry into the main base. We do have confirmation it's going to be a Twilight Council opener out of Azura, opening up Twilight Council, opening up Blink, not Stargate, not Robo. It's up to Nicoract to piece together what exactly is going on, as he has not seen the tech, not yet. tries to make his way in, does open the door. Helize flood on into the main, and 3 Helize one-shot probe. Very nice force field here. The main base is locked down, but the natural is still exposed, and the probes, they do line up for a moment, but nicely done. He was himself in. Let's go. Ooh, does barely squeeze through. Probes are getting picked up, getting 4 probe kills so far, but nothing too major. Like I say, that 6 probes do go down. I love the pull away. I love the re-wall, but barely didn't fully wall off. Whew. Very intense, very clutch. In the end, we do have a trade here. 3 Hellions, 1 Reaper for 6 probes. Not the worst trade for Nicoract, bearing in mind as we also have the auto turret into the main base. More probes going to be going down. Ooh, and a late reaction out of Azura. Very late reaction. 10 workers going down in the main. Nice damage so far here by Nicoract. Bearing in mind he did confirm scouting. Checking his vision, Nicoract, he is aware of the blink-based opener as he saw all the stalkers, and so far has seen no oracles or phoenixes. So he's aware of what's going on. No massive gateway explosion. It's going to be up to a 3-gate setup, so a very safe play here from Azura. Does take his gases at the natural. It's going to be 3-gate blink into tech, into a bay, before expanding. As Azura, he does move out. Azura, he's just in position to maintain map control, to contain Nicoract, to keep him on these 2 bases. From the side of Nicoract, he is going up to extra Raxes. Do you see what I see? I see 2 hidden Raxes behind the main base. I see no add-ons, not yet. This might just be a 2-base all-in. We might end up even pulling the boys. We'll keep an eye on Nicoract. If we skip add-ons here, then this should be an all-in. If we get add-ons, then most likely we're building up towards something a little bit later. Now though, yeah, just focusing on marine production. This feels like an all-in. We did mention earlier, Sandworm is a rush map. It is a smaller map. Because of certain features, you can be more defensive. We have seen longer games on Sandworm, but the rush distance by ground is still quite short. And it looks like Nicoract wants to take advantage of that. Again, 5-rack setup, hidden Raxes, more marines on the way, and he's not stopping. He's not stopping that marine production. Meanwhile, Azura across the map, we do see a little bit more harass, but I assumed was going to be Colossus, opens up Disruptor. Bold move. Disruptor first, Disruptor second. Very bold, very risky. Okay, there we go. Disruptor first into Colossus does cancel the second Disruptor, thankfully, as that was getting a little bit intense and just getting a little bit too risky. Now, the reason why I would say it's risky is because Disruptors have a lot of potential, that is true, but they're one and done. One and done, you get 1 shot, you get 1 Nova. And Azura, he's rallying across the map with it. Never goes off. Oh, won't quite connect. And Nicoract, he's going to commit, and again, he does commit across the map. There is no third CC behind this. 5 Raxes, Mass Marine, a couple of Marauders. It's all or nothing for Nicoract. As he's just rallying across the map. Azura trying to slow him down. Again, the tanks and Marauders, oh, actually I should say, the tanks do kind of get choked up here. Nova doesn't connect. Yeah, no major connection. Azura, he's in trouble. He has to race back home. Disruptor's going to get caught out. That's going to be a free Disruptor going down. 0 value, 0 damage. Colossus does arrive, but doesn't have enough support. As Nicoract, he stims in. He stims in, chasing Azura down. Tanks are getting within range of the Robo. Robo's exposed. GG gets called. The writing is on the wall. Nicoract, he snowballs out of control. And Nicoract will take game number 1. Whew. GG, well played, Nicoract. He will claim a lead in the series. Again, Nicoract committing here to his 2-base play. Unfortunately, Azura, it was risky to open up Disruptor. The Disruptor did not pay for itself. Likewise, he barely was able to slow down the army either. He was busy getting a third base, saturating his 3rd base as well. He was trying to slow down the army, but he picked off like 1 or 2 Marines. Nothing major. Nothing major in the end. GG, well played. On top of that, the size of the map also comes into play, bearing in mind that it is a small map. It is Sandworm, and in the end, Nicoract did break through. And now the pressure is on. The pressure is on Azura to bounce back, to try to force back and forth, to try to tie up the series. I want to believe he can, but I'm curious what map is going to be chosen. We'll see. We shall see. Depending on the map, it will kind of favor either later gameplay, more economic play, more aggressive play. Never mind. Never mind, Pappy, never mind. We have our second map. We're going to be loading into Whispers of Gold. It's going to be a short series. It's going to... Whispers of Gold being the other rush map. I would say the shortest rush distance map in the ladder map pool. I'm actually not too certain how this compares to Sandworm, for example, but very small map, and aggression is going to be favored. Let's go. Refresh. SCC. No, that's fine. It's all good. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Wisps of Gold, we have the Red Terran player. The Red Terran representing the Platinum Heroes that lead the series 1-0. It is Nicoract. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Italian Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Ping Pong Exports. It is Azura. Here we go. As we do calm things down, we do settle in. Again, Nicoract, he did commit to I wouldn't say borderline 2 base, still in with that last game. Again, throwing down extra Raxes, not getting a third TC, just hyper committed on 2 bases. Didn't pull the boys, but in the end didn't even need to pull the boys to catch Azura off guard. Now we're going to be loading into another small map. Another map where you are vulnerable to 2 base and even 3 base play. Specifically here, Wisps of Gold, there is no ramp coming into the natural. The 3rd and the 4th base are also a little more exposed. There is technically a ramp coming into the triangle third, but it's a very wide ramp. Likewise, multiple attack paths into the 3rd base. You can knock down the rocks as well. In general, the 3rd bases here can be quite difficult to defend, and we have seen a lot of success with aggression. Speaking of, double gas. This time it's going to be a double gas opener out of Azura. Double gas means a faster factory. From here we can go into earlier reactor Reaper Hellion, we can go into earlier Starport, into earlier committed mine drops. We do have a lot of potential here for Nicoract. He can go into Banshee play, for example. We'll see, as the factory is of course prioritized. Factory is on the way. Meanwhile, across the map, Azura, standard opener, gate into Cybercore, into Nexus, standard opener, just like the last game. Really, it is Nicoract that's mixing it up. Does mix it up. Reaper moves out. It's going to be a Sentry-based opener out of Azura. As you saw even in the previous game, Sentry openers are very trendy nowadays. Just because of the change to the energy overcharge, it does mean the hallucination scouts are a lot more reliable, a lot more easier to get into, a lot more accessible. And speaking of, there's the energy overcharge, and there is the hallucination scout. So again, this is a lot more standard. Hallucination dips in, we'll get eyes on the delayed expansion and on the faster factory. Hellion production on the way. Yep, this is going to be Reactor Reaper Hellion, so this is going to be a little more committed early on. Last game we saw Nicoract did get 6 probe kills, and we'll see how many he can get this time. And again, like, Azura had like a really clutch defense in game 1. I was very impressed by the force field. I was really impressed by the attempted re-wall to lock the Hellions into the natural. Like, it was all really fancy is what I want to say, but barely didn't quite pay off. Didn't really come to full fruition, unfortunately. But part of that might also be just an unfamiliarity with the map itself, with what it takes to fully wall an area off. So Hellion Reaper has arrived. Now we're getting up to triple Reaper and double Hellion. Likewise, once again, going for the mineral line, going for the Sentry actually. Shield Whatever coming in clutch. Azura does pull away. I pulled away for a moment. 1 probe goes down. And Nicoract, he doesn't commit. He pulls away. As he backs off, behind this we have a tech lab on the starport, this time not going into Raven, but into Banshee. Cloak is on the way. Much more committed here by Nicoract. Now, thankfully, Azura, he's not delaying his robo. On 2 bases, he does have a robo on the way here at the natural. Hellion Reaper into the mineral line. Once again, Azura does pull away. Does pull away in time. Hellions are targeted down. They don't get enough damage. Azura holds. Does hold on. Once again, it's going to be a Twilight Council opener out of Azura. Twilight Council into Blink. The Reaper will be shut down. But for the most part, Nicoract is going to be aware. And we'll see what he can get done. Now, with this robo, it does mean that we will have access to detection. There should be an observer on the map. Problem is, the first observer is usually sent across the map to scout, as you can see with the rally, so it won't be at home. A recall may be available, and we might have to rely on a recall here to deal with this Banshee. The Banshee's getting in position. A Cloak is finishing up in a couple of seconds. Nicoract, he's already moving in. Nick Hanna, 2 shot probes. 1 worker so far, getting 2, getting 3. Azura is across the map, doesn't quite commit into the natural. So far, nice damage, getting it to 5, getting it to 6. Oh my god. 6 probes go down. Banshee does cloak away. Second Banshee's moving out. You know, the stalkers are across the map, but last there is no observer. I should say the observer is back at home, so there's no high ground vision. Stalkers, they cannot threaten the main. Nicoract moves out. Now Stim did just begin for Nicoract. Ooh, as he is looking for the observer. Alas, there is none. The observer's back at home. Nicoract, who will get 2 more probe kills. Okay, the 2 more workers. Meanwhile, Nicoract bleeding out a lot of Marines. Thankfully, does preserve his tanks. Nicoract, he will pull away. Banshee goes back in and gets up to 4 probes. How many in total? Getting up to 11. 11 worker kills, a sentry, a stalker. Did cost him quite a bit when it comes to the initial dive with the Hellion Reaper. Meanwhile, the Banshee gets even more damage done. Ay, ay, ay. The Banshee, 4 workers on it so far. And oh my god. Nicoract does punish. And Nicoract this time is not going for an all-in, he is going for a 3rd TC. So Nicoract, he is building up, he is expanding, getting ready for a longer game state. Upgrade's about to finish, and Nicoract, he will soon break out. That's what I'm trying to keep up. Let's pull away. Let's pull away. Gets 2 probes at the 3rd, now headed towards the natural. Still getting more damage done. Again, it's only been 2 Banshees, but they've achieved so much. And here comes Nicoract, here comes the main army. Azura caught out of position, was trying to defend against that Banshee. Tanks will siege, there's 2 Immortals to defend, but the tank blows are brutal. Shield Battery does come into play. Does stall off the army. The base is under fire. Banshee still wreaking havoc, and 10 probes going to be going down. And Azura just being pulled apart, cannot keep up. Ooh, massive with a mine shot. Mine shot goes off, stims in, takes down the Immortal, takes down the base, takes down everything. GG gets caught. Nicoract, he snowballs out of control, just pulling Azura apart. And Nicoract will take the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played. Very, very aggressive and very impressive play there by Nicoract. Again, both in game 1 and in game 2. Game 1 was basically a 2-base all-in. Game two, we saw Nicoract building up towards a longer game state, but the harassment was just too much. Whether it was with the Hellion Banshee the Hellion Reaper initially, or the follow-up Banshee. Specifically, those Banshees, they achieved so much damage. It wasn't just the damage, but they were also forcing the observers to stay at home, stalkers to stay at home, and also just testing and really limiting the attention that Azura had to defend at multiple locations at once. It was very, very difficult to defend, very awkward to hold on both locations, and Azura was torn apart. It's torn apart then and there. GG, well played. Nicoract will claim the series, and Nicoract will advance on into the next round. And he's waiting for his next opponent. We have some updates. We do have some updates here. Exclamation mark. Be in the chat to have a look back at yourselves. Let's go. Let's switch our scenes over and catch up. We have a lot of updates and a lot to go over. We have ByuN. ByuN, of course, being the #1 seed of the tournament. ByuN, he is a reigning Sparkling Tuna champion. But we have many Tuna champions actually in the bracket, so there's some tough competition and even some newcomers as well. We have Daylatos versus Ragnar in the first round. Winner goes up against ByuN. We have Homeowner versus Abestus also in the round of 16, currently mid-series. Scrolling down, we have Gerald waiting for the winner of Matt and Stek, as they are facing off in the round of 32. Shameless going to be going up against Ateshi in a PvP, as Ateshi takes down Roman Demold 2-0. We have ShoWTimE for the first time, by the way, featuring ShoWTimE debuting in the Sparkling Tuna Cup. Again, we have had some big names, some heavy hitters, but never before has ShoWTimE signed up for a Sparkling Tuna Cup. So exciting stuff, exciting. We'll see how far he can go. We'll see if he can walk that royal road. Scrolling down, we have MindelVK. MindelVK takes down Rebellion 2-0. Big win for Mindel, very impressive. Waiting in the next round. And we have HackerasTop. HackerasTop takes down SW Pro 2-0, now up against SKillous Nikita in the round of 16. And of course, Nicoract waiting in the quarterfinals. Nicoract, MindelVK waiting in the quarterfinals, and we are waiting for SKillous and HackerasTop to wrap up. Our goal here is to follow these lower matches into each other. SKillous and HackerasTop, they're in game number 1. I barely just missed them as we got out of game, so barely did miss them, but I believe they're in game 1, and we can jump into game 2, jump into game 3, and follow them into Nicoract. I'll be honest, I expect that to be a short series. I'm referring to SKillous and HackerasTop. HackerasTop, only cheese. Only cheese, only all-ins. He doesn't macro. No, I've never seen a macro. I don't believe he can macro. It's just all about cheese, all about aggression. We love him for it, to be fair. He's very entertaining as a player. But yeah, he's going to make for a short series. So best of luck to SKillous. Hopefully he can survive the aggression of HackerasTop, and we'll be waiting for that series to open up. Likewise, again, ShoWTimE waiting for the winner of Dwarf and Captain Fish. Didn't miss that series. I believe Captain Fish is streaming his POV, so you can check that out. Speaking of, it just finished. Captain Fish takes on Dwarf, and Captain Fish is up against ShoWTimE in the next round. Let's go. Let's go. They're going to be facing off in the round of 16. Best of luck in that TVP when it goes up against MindelVK in the quarterfinals as well. But again, we will have some downtime waiting for SKillous and HackerasTop. Technically, I could jump into ShoWTimE versus Captain Fish, but usually when we pick a portion of the bracket, we want to stick to it. So we want to be there for Nicoract. We want to be able to follow him as best we can. But yeah, some of the heavy hitters and big names here: ByuN, Gerald, Shameless, ShoWTimE, SKillous, Nicoract, MindelVK. I will say that I'm happy to see Sebestis again. Sebestis is not the most active of players. He doesn't play in too many open cups. He's very active on the ladder, don't get me wrong, but I think he himself has said that he doesn't play too much in online tournaments. So great to see him here against Hormono. That's going to be a crazy TVP. I was tempted to jump into that, but I feel like we cast a little Hormono, and I mean, I would love to appreciate it and love to feature Sebestis, but hopefully I can catch him later. Hopefully I can catch him later or another time. We'll get there. We'll get there. Este es tu fool. Este Jaime sausage. Calm down, Bobby. Calm down. Also, Shema, baby. Yo, I see Demi in the chat as well. Oh my god. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás, Demi? Seaberg, Time as well. Psycons. Tomingas. Bienvenidos. Easy Phil, Pecoeta, Serious Black. Hope you're doing well. Hope you've had a great weekend. And here, of course, we're kind of wrapping up our weekend as well, getting ready for the rest of the week. And I guess for now, we'll have some downtime. We're going to have some downtime. We're going to be heading over towards a small break. Take this opportunity to get some snacks. Get some food, get some water, hydrate a Hydra, stretch your roaches, massage your Marines. And we'll be back soon with the rest of the event with SKillous versus HackerasTop. See you soon. See you soon. See you soon. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. We have returned with the Sparkling Tuna Cup with the round of 16, and we are jumping in mid-series. We just wrapped up earlier with Nicoract versus Azura, but now we're here with another matchup, with a scoreline that I was not expecting. It's crazy. It's insane. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of El Dorado, we have the random Ukrainian player rolling Protoss, and of course letting his opponent know we have the purple Protoss player representing Hokago T-Team. It is Hacker is Top. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the red Protoss player representing Team Liquid. Down in the series, we'll see if he can bounce back, we'll see if he can recover. One of the favorites to win it all, it is SKillous. And if you're in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat. Coming into the SKillous is the heavy favorite, but SKillous is down in the series. Again, we missed out on game one. Game one was a relatively short game, and I did mention before that Hacker's Top is very cheesy, very aggressive, is a random player. He does let his opponent know what race he rolls. That is true. That is not the case with all random players, as there's no need to, like I should say, there's no obligation to the player to do so. So Hacker's Top does typically, divulge that information, but still is hyper aggressive nonetheless. And I have no idea what happened in game one. I couldn't tell you, outside of the fact that most likely cheese was involved. Aggression of some kind. Here we go. We do have a Hacker's Top opening up 2 gates, so double gate opener out of Hacker's Top. SKillous going for a gate, Cyber into expansion, is building up for that Nexus, and the Nexus is going to be thrown down. So a very greedy build here by SKillous, opening up with that faster Nexus, which means Hacker's Top has the option to go for a 1-base all-in, to go for a proxy. My eyes are on this probe. Do we throw down the pylon? Do we throw down the robo? Do we commit to an all-in? SKillous, in a way, he's asking for it, and there it is. The pylon has been thrown down. Now, when it comes to the openers, it is more safe, it is more standard to open up the way that SKillous is on El Dorado. What I'm referring to is that SKillous, he did skip his second gateway. He did go and rush into a faster Nexus, but the reason why you can get away with this is because of the ramp. You have a ramp coming into the natural, you have SimCity working on your side, you have that high ground advantage, another gateway is on the way, and we do have a proxy robo out of Hacker's Top. SKillous, he scouts, did dip forward, but does confirm. There we go. The probe dives in. The probe does confirm. SKillous is fully aware of the all-in. Now, what do we need defensively? Either a Stargate or a Robo, Immortal, or Void Ray Production. One or the other is going to be necessary here. Now, SKillous setting up with the sentries. Oof, we're now going to get supply blocked, actually. Yeah, we'll be supply blocked for a time. Oh, nice force fields. Hacker's Top does lock him in. Does lock him in, does lock him down. At first, sentry does fall. Won't quite get the other shield, but he does finish up just in time. Does lock in the Stalker. Both are locked in. Uh-oh. Both are locked in. Another Stalker has arrived. And it looks like one Stalker is going to go down, but that sentry taking a lot of hits. Shield batteries out of energy. Another sentry is going to go down. Oh my god. Another sentry falls. And another. Oh my god. Yeah, these are rough trades here for SKillous. Losing every single sentry. One barely does survive. Whew, does hold on. Gateways are done, and SKillous, he breaks out. He does break out. Here come the reinforcements. Hacker's Top, he's on 3 gateways. Immortal's on the way. Hacker's Top, he moves out. We'll see if he can break SKillous. SKillous does have a second shield battery done. A third shield battery is on the way. Force fields are available. But remember, there's no other tech behind this, just gateways. Just a gateway army, no Immortals, no Void Rays. Not for SKillous. Force fields a certain way the Immortal. Yeah, the Immortal is just out of the fight. Cannot engage. Hacker's Top trying to pull out. And you can see how awkward it is to push up this ramp. It's just so brutal here. The Immortal was just a non-factor. And Hacker's Top transitioning into Proxy Disruptor. Let's go. Going for the Disruptors. Prism has arrived. Stop making his way towards the main. Does make his way over. Rotates on in. Skill Sacrifice confirms the bay, confirms the production. Yeah, double checks. you could see the double take with the hallucination. He was like, what? Just had to make sure he knew what he was seeing. I don't blame him. Stargate's on the way. Immortal does drop into the main though. Oh, yeah, no shield battery. No shield battery to defend. Has to pull back to the natural. So far, SKillous, he's holding on. Remember, the longer this goes on, the better it is for SKillous. Sentries break out. They're getting on top of the production. He's getting on top of that pylon. The Immortal does arrive. No disruptors yet. Immortal getting locked down. Where's that Prism? Oh no! Oh my god. Prism does survive. Oh no, I spoke too soon. Prism goes down. Massive pick of disruptors on the way. But SKillous, he's shutting down the all-in. He's shutting this down. He catches another Immortal. Takes down the Immortal, takes down the Prism. Going for whatever he can. Has to pull away for a moment. But again, that Immortal is so exposed. There is no more Warp Prism. There's no micro potential. With that, Hacker's Top he has to try to reinforce. Disruptor has arrived. SKillous, he pulls back, pulls away. That Nova has potential. Has potential, but no connection. Yeah, no connection. Never gets spent. And do you have a charge here on the sentry? He's ready to force field. Oh. Is ready for it. Likewise, massing up Phoenixes. Yeah, there's a force field. Disruptor goes down. GG gets called, and as SKillous, he will survive. He will defend, and we are going to the ace match. Whew. GG. SKillous will fight back, put that point on the board. Again, a very intense game. Thankfully, SKillous did scout. He was able to pro scout. He was able to confirm the initial build. He did scout the proxy robo, and he responded not with his own robo, not with his own Stargate, but with a third gateway. He committed into mass gateway. He was a little bit more proactive and very much so just taking advantage of that ramp. Very nice force fields out of SKillous to lock down certain key units, to shut down his opponent, and to, in the end, snowball out of control. GG. GG, well played. SKillous, he does fight back, and we are going all the way to the ace match, and we'll see how this story ends. We'll see what race Hacker's Top lands on, more importantly. I feel like that's going to be one of the more important things here is, does he play Protoss again? Does he play Terran? Does he play Zerg? And what build does he go for? Oh, as Hacker is top. Okay, we are mixing it up here. Going to be loading into Persephone. And it looks like we are going to be landing on something different. Oh boy. We go. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Persephone, we have the Ukrainian Zerg player, the purple Zerg representing her Cargo T team. Rolling. Zerg, as I should mention, it is Hacker's Top. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Protoss player representing Team Liquid. It is SKillous. Why is this one wasn't it the first game? If you recall, as we loaded into game 1, I did mention that we were jumping in mid-series and that Hacker's Top was leading the series 1-0. So the scoreline should have been on the screen. And it all ends here. It all ends in the ace match. Here we go. It is going to be gas first. Gas, a pull, a hatch opener here out of Hacker's Top. Hyper aggression out of our purple Zerg player. Actually, it was pull first, if I recall correctly. Pull, gas, hatch. And we'll see what is done with the gas. From here, we can go into an early Roach Run, into a Roach Rush. We could go for an early Baneling Nest. Bane busts are not really seen too often in this matchup, though. We could just rush into Link Speed and then pull out a gas. We'll see what is done with said gas income. As we do see Hacker's Top building up. Lings are on the way. Back at home, we do have our initial opener here. Standard opener, Gate Cyber Expand out of SKillous. Does go for a faster Cyber Core, but no faster second gateway. Let's go. As we get into this, a big shout to Captain Fish in the chat. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great time with your games. I did see you went up against Dwarf or I should say Tier, alongside ShoWTimE. So I hope you had a great time there. And thank you so much for the raid. Welcome one and all to the Sparkling Tuna Cup. Now, I was already riding off a Bane bust, but there it is. Baneling Nest is on the way. We're going for the bust. So one way or another, the game is about to end. The series will conclude either Hacker's Top breaks SKillous here and now, or he dies trying. Oh, I think they threaten to dive. They do threaten, they pull back for now. More links being sent out, so the probe does confirm lack of saturation. SKillous is somewhat aware. There's going to be a Stargate open out of SKillous. Safety, shield battery. But that pylon is looking very exposed. No sentry either, no force fields. Here come the Banelings. And the target should be... Oh, I was going to say the pylon, but we re-wall. Whew. Yeah, re-wall here from SKillous does protect the pylon. Very nice. Pylon going to be safe. What about the Zelts? What about the Adepts? Shield battery's not done. Banelings are rolling in. And they will break through. breakthrough, but doesn't matter. Shield battery is on. Adepts are being topped up. Lings are going to be waddling in. Shield battery about to run out of energy. Shield battery. Oh, there's the energy overcharge. Never mind. Yeah, the energy overcharge is just a little bit too good. Nice shuffling of the units. SKillous does shuffle around his adepts. And with that, Hacker's Top will not break through. Yeah, this is going to be a defense. Solid defense here by SKillous. Bailings waddle in. They break down the first adept. But there's just not enough here. I say that. Lings. Oh, do they get us around? They barely do. They barely slip in. The Oracle does hold out, though. Yeah, the Oracle has arrived. Nice re-wall. Lings, they flood into the main. And Hacker's Top is getting some economic damage. But not enough. Not enough damage here. Hacker's Top pulls away. Hits the mineral line. Does hit the natural, going back into the main. More probes. Oh. But honestly, Hacker's Top, he's running out of steam. He's running out of steam. He's trying to get ready for a third Bane bust. Let's go. But the link count just isn't there, and the longer this goes on, the better and the stronger SKillous becomes. Extra war pins, extra units, more shield batteries. The cyber core is low, that is true, but despite that, SKillous, he should still be fine. I mean, that is a lot of banelings. Not as many Lings though. SKillous, he moves out with his double Oracle. Bold move out of SKillous. Banelings, they will knock down this front door. Is going to be enough. Lings, they take down the cyber core. Okay. Double Baneling has was the middle line at the same time. Speaking of, every drone is going to be going down. Banelings get some decent connections, but it may not matter. May not matter. These Oracles, they're wreaking havoc. They get every single drone. Boys are being pulled. Adept is protected. Did get 11 workers, but it's still nowhere near enough. More Zealot Warpins. And GG gets called. Hacker's Top, he runs out of steam, and SKillous, he will claim the series 2-1, advancing on to the next round. GG. GG, well played. SKillous, he will claim the series. Well done, well played. I did miss out on game 1, so I missed out on how exactly Hacker's Top did pull things off, but apparently did play Terran in game 1 and was able to get a fast one over on SKillous. But here in game 2 and game 3, I wasn't quite able to. Again, I do think it was a pretty intense all-in game 2, and it was very close, but here in game 3, it was a lot more one-sided. Like SKillous, he was very comfortable. Sure, he lost a couple of probes towards the end, but for the most part, SKillous, he could maintain those losses. He could afford them. GG. GG, well played. SKillous, he will claim the series, and we are getting ready for our next matchup. Here we go. Go. But yeah, our next matchup is going to be another TVP. Let's switch on over. Let's switch on over here to the back. Let's catch up on some results. Let's figure out what has been going on. Let's go. As from the top, we do have quite some downtime actually, as ByuN is still waiting for his opponent. Sebestes takes down Hormono 2-1. Big win there for Sebestes. Very nicely done. Does survive the animalistic tendencies of Hormono. SMH. SMH my head, but really nice win. And Sebestes is waiting for the winner of ByuN, of Davlatos, and of Ragnar. Scrolling down, we have Gerald. Gerald is up against Matt in a PvZ in the second round. We have Shameless versus Zateshi in a PvP as well. We have ShoWTimE. ShoWTimE going up against MindelVK. Is going up against MindelVK. And we have SKillous up against Nicoract. And we were about to get into SKillous versus Nicoract, but this is something that I was a little bit concerned about. There is another event that is actually going over this one. There is the, I believe, ShoWTimE spring qualifier that is going on, and alas, we do get a walkover here. Nicoract, he has decided to... Oh. I guess trumpets. But Nicoract, he has decided to give the walkover to SKillous. Nicoract is going to be competing in the qualifier for the Spring Championship, which means SKillous, he gets a walkover, and bam, just like that, SKillous is in the semifinals. He's in the semifinals. Meanwhile, we have some more updates. Shameless takes down Adeshi 2-1. Shameless, he does advance on to the next round. And I guess our next focus is going to be ShoWTimE versus MindelVK. Okay. Again, ShoWTimE versus MindelVK. I believe MindelVK is streaming his POV. I believe they're in game 1, but because the lower part of the bracket is progressing so quickly, we will be trying to jump into ShoWTimE versus Mindel, and we'll follow that into SKillous. Again, it's a little bit sad. I would have loved to have seen SKillous versus Nicoract. I was looking forward to it. One of the reasons why we focus on this part of the bracket, but you know, alas, does happen here. It does happen. When it comes to sometimes these overlapping events. So for now, our attention does focus on ShoWTimE and MindelVK. This does confirm that we have a Protoss for the finals, though. Without Nicoract, ShoWTimE, MindelVK, and SKillous, pure Protoss down here. Pure Protoss in the lower half. When it comes to the upper half, we still have Matt repping Zerg. So we still have Matt, and I guess technically Ragnar and Davlatos as well. Likewise, outside of that, we have some Protoss, and of course ByuN repping Terran. Boy, I feel like it's about who can bring ByuN down up there. Best of luck. Best of luck to all the players. Now the ShoWTimE and Mindel is where our attention lies. Oh boy. Here we go. So we are setting up. As a reminder, both semifinals are going to be casted, so you might be curious, or you might be concerned, like, oh, like if we focus on the lower bracket, do we miss out on ByuN or some of these other players like Sebestis, Gerald, Shameless, Matt? We will be catching up with the upper players with the upper part of the bracket after the lower part. So we'll get there. We'll get there. So that's all good. We'll get there. The TVP on Last Fantasy. Oh, let's go. Believe it or not, I played Last Fantasy twice. Oh my god, I learned to like that map. Oh, you love it, map. You love it. Beautiful. But we are gonna be going into. We are going to be going on a short break. Here, and when we return, we will hopefully have ShoWTimE versus MindelVK. So take this time, once again, get some snacks, get some food, get some water, drain your disruptors, massage your marines. We will be back soon with our next matchup. See you guys after the break. See you soon. See you soon. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. We have returned with our next quarterfinals match. We just wrapped up with the lower quarterfinals, and now we're here to determine who will face off against SKillous in the lower semis. And spawning in the right-hand corner of ley lines, we have the German Protoss player, the Red Protoss, for the first time in a CranKy Ducklings tournament. It is ShoWTimE. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Protoss player representing Storm Gaming. It is MindelVK. And if you're in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we are jumping in mid-series. As a reminder, ShoWTimE is leading 1-0. The first game did occur off stream, but now we're here to jump into game 2 and potentially even game number 3. Also, for some added context, of course, the winner of this series will make it and will face off against SKillous in that next round. We're here to follow one player into the other. Let's go. For now, 2-gate. 2-gate opener out of ShoWTimE, likewise 2-gate opener out of MindelVK as well. Mirrored builds for the time being. Nothing too crazy, nothing too fancy. So probes are moving out. Markers do move out. They do move out to, more importantly, scout across the map to get vision on the pylon. Second pylon thrown down in the main base for ShoWTimE. Likewise, second pylon in the main base for MindelVK as well. So no hidden pylon, no proxy out on the map, and no fake proxy either. Not yet. So both players do confirm. Everything so far looking normal, looking standard. When it comes to game 1, I'm unfortunately not fully aware as to what happened in game 1, but I believe MindelVK is streaming his POV, so he's got you covered there. If you want to tune into the VODs or tune into MindelVK's stream, POV is available. Likewise, pylons are going to be placed, both players setting up for their expansions. Both players reveal their third pylons. And we have our initial units of choice going to be Stalker Sentry out of ShoWTimE, likewise Stalker Sentry out of MindelVK. Still mirrored builds. Builds are still mirrored. ShoWTimE does pylon block, likewise so does MindelVK. There's a cancel, and we should soon be seeing the expansion. ShoWTimE is natural, and so does Mindel. I mean, we don't get more mirrored than this. No shot. We do have a bit of a divergence. We do have additional sentries on the way from MindelVK. Meanwhile, ShoWTimE, I believe, makes a second Stalker, so a slight divergence, but only slight. Outside of that, both players are going to be opening up with their sentries and going for their scouts. Again, this is a big reason why why sentry openers are so common in PvP, because they allow you to scout and they allow you to see everything that your opponent is up to. This nation gets eyes on the tech, gets eyes on the Twilight Council into Blink. Likewise, Twilight Council also scouted for MindelVK. Now, technically, this could be like a crazy DT-based opener, but because of the non-stop hallucinations, and it is going to be non-stop thanks to the sentries, thanks to the additional sentries, it's hard to hide. It's hard to hide a Dark Shrine in the main. We could try to, of course, proxy the Dark Shrine elsewhere, try to rush into DTs, but there is no pylon. There is no proxy, so for the most part, there's no real avenue or no real way to get away with Dark Templar. Not in this kind of setup for either player, for Mindel or ShoWTimE. And both players do open up Blink, as to be expected. Question becomes, how many gateways do we throw down, and do we go for any further tech? Do we go for tech before expansion, expansion before tech? Do we build up towards a third base? What is the plan? Players are building up. Pylon on the way for Mindel. Hallucination does confirm. No gateway explosions from anyone, so both players will expand. Both players will take their third bases. And there it is, third base for ShoWTimE. Likewise, third base for Mindel. We're just settling in. We're calming down. Standard openers into a more passive mid-game here. Everyone's just getting into their third base. Mindel is going to be the first to move out. Trying to catch out a Stalker. Cannot push up that ramp. Mindel backs off for now. Likewise, hallucinations, they keep scouting, they keep checking. We do have a faster forge here from MindelVK. So faster forge means faster upgrades. ShoWTimE has yet to throw down his own forge. Just focusing on Stalker production. There we go, a slightly later forge here from ShoWTimE. So there is going to be a small window in time where Mindel has +1 over his opponent. True. Is going to be available. As ShoWTimE does move out, headed towards that third base. And MindelVK not quite in position. A couple of shots are going to be going off. We could even see ShoWTimE try to blink into the main. Does go for the mineral line. Catching a couple of workers. 3 probes go down. Mindel does miss the army. And does get the pylon. Nice pick up. Pylon goes down. ShoWTimE he backs off. Does back off. Does dip away. ShoWTimE does take a worker lead. Oh, trying to catch out some stalkers. Nice blinks out of MindelVK. Doesn't lose a stalker. But he will lose a sentry. For a stalker. Bit of a trade. I'll say a bit of pickoff here for ShoWTimE. Bearing in mind he got 3 probes earlier. Mindel, he wants a sentry. He does get it. Not bad. Trade sentries 1 for 1. Mindel got adepts and a stalker. Meanwhile, ShoWTimE got economic damage. As the armies back off us, as the dust settles, we do have a bit of an economic lead here for ShoWTimE. He's up 3 workers. Both players getting up to full 3 base saturation. Massive gateway explosions on the way. We have +1. We have charge, immortal production. Once again, both players are headed towards the same direction. This is a more standard follow-up here in PvP. Again, it's all about stalkers initially, but then very quickly it all becomes about charged ones. The reason for this, I mean, 1, they're cheaper, but also they trade very, very well here against stalkers. They do a great job tanking stalker shots and also closing that distance and closing that gap. This is where you have to supplement your army with Archon production. And there it is, Temple Archives on the way for those Archons. As Archons, they counter Zealots. Then you have to build up your Immortal count to help deal with the Archons. And you end up with that heavy gateway composition. We're getting there. Immortals, Charge-Lots, Stalkers, Archons. Both players should be heading in the same direction. I say that, I'm a little bit surprised that MindelVK, he has not teched up. He has not gone for his own Archon production. Just committing to Mass Zealot. Okay. When it comes to the gateway counts, he has thrown down 2 extra gateways. He's up to 10. So he's got a 10 gate setup. No gases at the third base. No gases at the natural. Just pure Zealot reinforcements. ShoWTimE does have an extra gas geyser here. And again, that is going to be for his own Archons. But MindelVK, he's committed. He's committed into this massive Swarm Toss army. Warping against 7 Zealots at a time. And we'll see if he can break through. The Archons aren't ready. Archons would be ideal here for ShoWTimE, but they're not ready yet. Better CranKy for Mindel. But he has to respect that force field. Does pull away, catches an Immortal, not bad. 1 Immortal goes down. Rotates over. Can he get on top of the Immortal here of ShoWTimE? Prism is going to go down. Oh, the Warpin is not denied. Warpin barely finishes, and with the completion of that Warpin, MindelVK is breaking through. He's barely breaking through. He wants that Immortal. He gets it. Massive pickoff. Takes down the Immortal. His own Immortal getting caught out. He has no War Prism. He has no reinforcements. Yeah, the Immortals are falling. MindelVK is running out of steam here. He's running out of reinforcements. These Zealots becoming an issue, but they're finally being dealt with. Takes down all 3. And again, if only Mindel still had that War Prism, as he barely doesn't have enough to keep going. Has to pull away. And reinforcing from across the map. Like Mindel, he's so close to breaking ShoWTimE. He's so close. Here comes our first Archon. Zealots peel off into the mineral line. They try to bust in. And they will get the pylon. Pylon goes down. Likewise, boys are being pulled. Pro's going to be going down. Mindel, he's going for the kill. And can he get that Immortal or even the Archon? Yeah, looks like he can. Yeah, does dive in. GG gets called. Mindel, he breaks ShoWTimE, and MindelVK ties up the series 1-1. Whew, GG. We are going to the ace match. Again, Mindel, he chose not to take up, to throw down extra gateways, to skip gases, and just commit with a mass swarm toss army, just mass zealot, mass stalker. It was very risky, very bold. I'll be honest, if that warp in didn't finish, I'm referring to the moment when when he committed to the all-in, when ShoWTimE, when he blinked on that prism, he blinked on the warp prism, he focused it down, he did kill the prism, but just barely after the warp in finished. That final warp in did punish those blink stalkers. Stalkers are going down, immortals are going down. It was very close, very clutch. GG. Whew. GG, well played. We're going all the way to game 3, and we'll see if MindelVK can force the upset. We'll see if he can pull it off. So here we go. We're getting into game number 3, the ace match. And game 3 is going to be on Sandworm. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Sandworm, we have the red Protoss player, the red Protoss from land of Germany, being forced into the ace match. We'll see if he can bring it back. He is favored to make a deep run in this tournament. We'll see if he can make it to the semis. It is ShoWTimE. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Protoss player, the blue Protoss himself, tying up the series, fighting back and forcing the ace match. It is MindelVK. Setting up. Here we go. As our players are settling in, and we'll see if ShoWTimE can bring it back. Now again, very impressive play there by MindelVK. Again, a lot of it came down to just that timing. We spoke about it, but MindelVK, he skipped his gases. He did skip his temple archives. He committed just mass zealot. It was very intense, very aggressive. Did catch ShoWTimE with his pants down, and you don't often see that. You know, ShoWTimE, he has a reputation. I mean, he has the nickname Demal for a reason, for being the wall. But, you know, even a wall has to wear pants, baby. Aye. Not like this, baby. Not like this. Now, I don't expect the same build. I'll be honest, I do not expect the same build. I do expect to see a different dynamic here coming into the ace match. But this time, I'm sure ShoWTimE is going to be a little more wary as to what his opponent is up to. As Mindel does look for the setup, we do have a very greedy build here. Gate Cyber Expand. Oh my god. Very greedy build here by ShoWTimE. Sorry, just I was zoning out a little bit. I didn't quite notice the lack of a second gateway. So hyper greed out of ShoWTimE. And Mindel, how does he respond? Welcome one and all to Sandworm. Sandworm is a much smaller map than map pool. I'm sure MindelVK is tempted to commit to an all-in. But does he? The other option, of course, oh, Twilight Council before Nexus. Hello, we're getting into early blink. Do we go for a proxy gateway? Do we commit into 1 base 4 gate blink? What is the plan? Hallucination moves out. The scout is not going to be denied. ShoWTimE, he will get eyes and he will confirm the Twilight Council. He is aware. Does spot the pylon, which is set up for an expansion. And we'll see if Mindel does expand. Looks like he will. As he's building up his minerals, yeah, probe moves down. Looks like Nexus will be taken. Mindel, he does reinforce. He's pushing. We do see ShoWTimE responding with a with the second gateway with a robo. Very safe setup here from ShoWTimE. Mindel does expand, a much later expansion as ShoWTimE's already done. Oof. Again, you can see the power of this opener here. ShoWTimE already complete. Is he going to be overwhelmed though? Shield batteries ready. ShoWTimE takes down 1 stalker. And ShoWTimE will defend. And just dancing with the army. He has a force field available. Very tight control there from MindelVK. Pulls away. Doesn't get caught out. Doesn't get force fielded. And coming into this, I'm liking ShoWTimE's position. So far looking solid here. I mean, he's up 7 probes, he's up 7 workers. Likewise, building up his immortal production, so he's going to be safe against aggressive builds. As he now has a second immortal on the way. So far, so good. So far, so good. Mindel, he breaks out across the map. And the one advantage that MindelVK has, of course, is Blink, right? Blink is almost done, and the Twilight Council is still halfway done for ShoWTimE. So MindelVK can pick off some key units, he can blink into the main, he can bypass the main army. Setting up a proxy. But still on a low gateway count, only 2 gates. Oh god. Did I say 2 gateways? He's getting a proxy 4th gate as he has a 3rd gateway back at home. So 4 gates blink for MindelVK. This is going to be hitting a little bit later is what I will say, but it's going to be quite committed. Already 1 Stalker going down. ShoWTimE being led over towards the right hand side. Station count is, oh my god, barely going to make it through. Whew. Does survive. Likewise, the second hallucination does not quite make it past, but the first one gets in, gets eyes on the gateway, gets eyes on the 4 gates set up back at home. We have a 5th gateway across the map, and we're committed. Yeah, MindelVK, I mean, he has been behind coming into this game. He has to break through, he has to deal critical damage. So he's building up more Stalkers. Going for the 3rd. Alas, now pushing into 3 Immortals, though. It's a lot of Immortals. Triggers the shields. Flies on board. He doesn't quite get one. And nice control, nice juggling. The Immortals are going to be saved. They fall back one after the other. Not a single Immortal dies. And with that MindelVK, his army crumbles. GG gets called. He does not trade well. Kills 0 Immortals. And ShoWTimE, he will defend. He will survive. ShoWTimE will take game number 3 and the series. GG. Whew. GG, well played again. MindelVK was completely forced all in. He was so far behind after the opener. ShoWTimE got away with so much greed there, and MindelVK just could not quite punish it. Took a little bit too long to keep going, and he just could not break that defensive line of Immortals. GG. GG, well played. ShoWTimE will advance on to the semifinals, and ShoWTimE, he already has an opponent waiting for him. Let's go. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys wish to have a look at the bracket yourselves. We can switch on over and catch up on the bracket. Okay, from the bottom, if you recall, SKillous did get a walkover over Nicoract, and SKillous, he has been patiently waiting for his next opponent. Up next is going to be a PvP between ShoWTimE and SKillous. Oh my god, a juicy one here. These two do go back and forth. They are some of the best Protoss players in Europe. I would say they are top 3 alongside MaxPax. MaxPax, ShoWTimE, and SKillous, they are top 3 Protosses in all of Europe. And they can go back and forth. This can go either way. We've seen ShoWTimE bring SKillous down. We've seen SKillous bring ShoWTimE down. They do trade matches. And it's hard to say who's the favorite player. Likewise, it looks like we also have some updates here. Gerald does get a walkover over SHAMELESS. We did mention earlier that there is a WarDTV qualifier happening at the moment. So I would imagine that SHAMELESS, similarly to Nicoract, did end up forfeiting to compete in that qualifier. Again, it is a shame that they did, or that the qualifier did overlap with our events, but you know, at the end of the day, the show must go on. Show must go on, and we have one final series that is still progressing: ByuN versus Sebestus over on the Americas server in a TVP. Their match is ongoing. For now, we're going to be focusing here on the PvP between ShoWTimE and SKillous. That is where our attention lies. Beautiful. Here we go. So Vitas are underway. Once they are done, we can jump in. As a reminder, we're going to be covering the upper semifinals after the lower semis, whether it's Gerald versus Zabestis or Gerald versus ByuN. That'll be after our current semifinals, and ideally it all lines up. Ideally, by the time we wrap up our lower semis, the upper one is ready for us. Then into the grand finals. So we are nearing the end of the broadcast. We're nearing the end here. We have around 3 series left. I should say maybe we're nearing the halfway mark or 2/3 mark. When it comes to the other updates, I kind of glossed over them, but yes, Gerald did take down Matt 2-0, and ByuN did take down Dave Latos. Just catching up with the chat. Remember to tell ByuN and Gerald to wait for us to finish ShoWTimE SKillous. The semifinals are always held. The semifinals are always held here for our events, for Sparkling Tuna Cup, for the Turtle Tussle. That is always done. Is always done. Oh, GG, Matt, GG. I see Matt in the chat. Again, I always appreciate, you know, when a player like Matt does sign up and does compete, just because we get some diversity. We get a little bit of Zerg representation. Doesn't always happen. Feels bad, man. So we appreciate it. When it comes to the Spring Championship, I believe we already have some players qualified. I believe ShoWTimE is already in. Yeah, ShoWTimE and SKillous and ByuN, they've already qualified for the Spring Championship, so they're not really concerned with the qualifier. But some of the others are, of course. For now, though, we might be going on a short break as Vitas are underway. You're waving that Zerg flag, Pap. You're waving that flag. No. We love you for it. But yeah, we're going to be going on a short break, so when we come back, we will have that semifinals. We'll have that PvP between ShoWTimE and SKillous. We'll see you guys after the break. See you soon. See you soon. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the lower semifinals of the Sparkling Tuna Cup number 87, your weekly dose of Tuna Cup action. We have our semis, we have some of our top 4 players, and spawning in the right hand corner of Amygdala, we have the German Protoss player himself, the Red Protoss. For the first time in a Sparkling Tuna Cup in a CranKy Duckling tournament. It is ShoWTimE. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Protoss player representing Team Liquid, a reigning Tuna Cup champion. It is SKillous. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. Hey, Papi. It's Gamba time. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat, as we have had some pretty fast games so far. Some pretty fast games, some pretty fast matchups. I'm hoping to embrace a bit of a longer back and forth, but we'll see as we do jump into our fresh best of 3. Coming into this, it's hard to call a favorite player, I'll be honest. I think for a long time, the hierarchy amongst European Protoss players was MaxPax is number 1, ShoWTimE is number 2, and SKillous is number 3. But what I will say is that over the past, I almost said 6 months, I would say over the past, 8, coming up to 9, almost 10 months at this point, we have had SKillous improving so much. Basically, post EWC, he has been improving, he has been leveling up, and he has been closing that gap between himself and the likes of MaxPax and ShoWTimE. So it's been impressive to see that growth from SKillous. Likewise, ShoWTimE, I would say, was kind of like hibernating, was kind of slumbering over the past couple of months, but last week, if you recall, ShoWTimE, he popped off. I was, oh my god. If you recall, it was during, I believe, the Wardy TV, was it the Wardy TV Mondays? I believe at ShoWTimE last week, he popped off and he made it all the way to the finals. He defeated Clem in a crazy result, in a crazy upset. ShoWTimE, he shut Clem down. He did eliminate Clem from the tournament. He also took down Bunny, and he took down Solar. That was last week. ShoWTimE took down everyone in this path. Did go down to Hero in the end, but ShoWTimE, he brought Hero to the ace match. Did bring him all the way to game 5. If you want to see those matches that I just mentioned, we casted them all. As always, we did cast all of those matches. The VODs are available on YouTube, VODs are available on Twitch. When it comes to those Wardy TV Monday matches and those broadcasts. So right now, ShoWTimE, he's definitely in 4. Now he is 4, and so is SKillous. So far, we have mirrored builds. Stargate opener out of SKillous, Stargate opener out of ShoWTimE. Both players did go for their faster natural bases. We do see that ShoWTimE's is slightly faster than his opponents, but only by a couple of seconds. Nothing too major, nothing yet. Go. Could be settling in. So far, hallucination gets eyes on the initial opener, so ShoWTimE is aware of the Oracle opener of SKillous. Meanwhile, SKillous, he is not aware of the Stargate of his opponent, so ShoWTimE going for the hard counter. Basically, ShoWTimE has information, SKillous does not. SKillous, he's lacking that information, he's going in blind. Little does SKillous know that he's walking into a trap, he's walking into Phoenixes. Stalkers, they attempt to intercept. Oracle moves in, Double Phoenix has arrived, and the Oracle is going to be shut down. As SKillous has to get the hell out of here, takes a lot of hits, takes a lot of losses, and the Oracle should fall. Likewise, second Oracle's on the way for SKillous, and it shouldn't be able to get much done either. Oracle goes down. Second one moves out. Now, this second Oracle is a massive gamble here. The goal is to keep away from those Phoenixes, is to get across the map and try to catch ShoWTimE off guard. Like ShoWTimE, he just shut down the first Oracle. What are the odds? What are the chances that SKillous still makes a second Oracle anyway and tries to get past? It'd be crazy. It'd be wild. And he is crazy. He is wild. Phoenixes are across the map. Oracle does soon hit the natural, but alas, there are ground units in position. There's that recall on the Phoenixes. And there's the recall on the Oracle. Oh my god, just in time. Whew. Just in time. Does get away. So far, so good. Likewise, with SKillous and ShoWTimE, they take their expansions. I would say for the time being, ShoWTimE has a slight advantage. I mean, I say slight advantage. These Phoenixes, they have a little more value than the Oracle. They don't just shoot up, they don't just shut down the Oracles, they can also lift up units, CC the main army, go for some pro pickoffs. Looking for a way in. Another way, they get one pro, they get two. Two workers going down, not bad. ShoWTimE does pull away. Behind this, getting to his own immortal production. Checking the tech here, it looks like ShoWTimE, he has delayed his Twilight Council, so he's going to have later blink or later charge. Because this Twilight Council is so delayed, I'm skipping blink and going straight into charge does make the most sense. SKillous, opting to go into blink himself, interesting. Does love to go for it. ShoWTimE rotating around. And after an intense early game here, we're kind of slowing things down a little bit. I say a little bit, ShoWTimE still maintains that Phoenix count, that Phoenix army. He's got 4 Phoenixes, he can still threaten the bases. SKillous is still stuck at home, stuck in the natural, stuck at the third. He cannot quite move out. And this army of SKillous doesn't really have a lot of longevity. He's building up to 4 gases. There's 1 gas at the natural, 1 gas on the way here at the third. SKillous, he's building up his Stalker army. Going for a massive gateway explosion, just going almost pure blink Stalker, at least currently. Meanwhile, ShoWTimE is taking charge on the way. Temple Archives as well. Archon production has begun for ShoWTimE. Getting into a Mortal Archon charge. A much more efficient composition here. I do worry for SKillous. As I feel like the longer this goes on, the better it's going to be for ShoWTimE. The goal base is a way to recover, true. So SKillous has had a bit of a rougher start, but the goal base can make up for that. Does make up for it. Stalkers, they move out. Alas, ShoWTimE is in position. I mean, the Observer does spot the army. To have more Stalkers coming in to reinforce. ShoWTimE sees everything with that Observer. Mortal's getting triggered. 1 Stalker goes down. Well, nice revelation. SKillous, he does notice the Observer. Behind this, going to charge. Just mass gateway. Now it's going mass gate. 1-side immortal, he gets 1. Whew. Not bad. He gets 1, stasis goes off, just on the 1 zealot though. Nice bait out of ShoWTimE. And SKillous, he needs those pickoffs. I'm referring to the immortals, the archons, any kind of key units here and there. But it is difficult as at this stage of the game they just have so much support. There's so many zealots. Just zealots really. SKillous has a guy back. 4 Stalkers going to be going down. Leading out all 4. ShoWTimE now with a 20 supply lead. And again, a lot of this is just off of the Phoenix opener. It wasn't just killing the Oracles, but it was also the second Oracle didn't really pay for itself. Getting some probe kills. All led into this kind of game state. And ShoWTimE is snowballing out of control. He breaks through those Phoenixes. Will take some stasis traps to the face though. That's a lot of Zealots getting caught out. A lot of Zealots get caught, but they still survive. And the stasis is about to run out as well. These trades have not been good enough here for SKillous. ShoWTimE is going to rotate. Gets behind the mineral line. SKillous, can he engage? He goes for a base trade instead, goes for a counterattack. ShoWTimE responds. Turns back around. In response to SKillous. SKillous getting caught. Oh, a lot of Stalkers going to be going down. Expensive losses for SKillous. Ay, ay, ay. Bleeding out a lot of Stalkers, and he plummets in supply. He just cannot keep up. The Stage Traps, they have potential, but we got some decent connections. It's okay. The Immortals are stuck in the back line. That's still 4 Immortals. You can see ShoWTimE is breaking through. The Immortals, they pop up. SKillous, he might barely get one. But just the one. As the base goes down, SKillous is being denied. And ShoWTimE, he just doesn't stop. Doesn't stop. You can just see how much momentum he's had the entire game. And unfortunately, SKillous just hasn't been able to recover. How can you? I mean, with DTs, with disruptors, with counterattacks, with run-bys, but in these head-on fights, it's just an uphill battle here. Stasis Traps, they are helping. True. Stasis Traps do help. Archon's going to be targeted down, but the Immortals are still contested. Oh! As GG gets called, the Immortals, they will survive, and ShoWTimE takes game number 1. Whew. GG. Getting a solid game there out of ShoWTimE, just shutting down the initial opener, opening up Phoenixes as a response to the Oracle opener. The Oracles didn't really do much at all here for SKillous. They set him behind. He also lost extra workers, and it was just playing catch-up. He was just playing catch-up for most of that game. He did decide to commit into Mass Blink Stalker, and we saw him pick off like an Immortal here and there, but nothing major. We saw that for the most part, ShoWTimE was keeping up with the army, keeping up with the rotations, and GG. GG, well played. In the end, ShoWTimE does take a lead, and now we are getting ready for game number 2. Let's go. We're getting ready for that second game, and game 2 is going to be on Ley Lines. One of the more standard maps in the map pool. And we'll see if SKillous can bounce back. See if he can bounce back and force that ace matches. Right now, he's up against the wall. Meanwhile, the upper matches are getting ready. Upper matches are getting ready for us. And here we go. Here the beast, we have that second game. We're jumping it. And spawning in the top right hand corner of Ley Lines, we have our red Protoss player. We have our red Protoss from the land of Germany, leading the series 1-0. And 1 game away from making it to the grand finals, it is ShoWTimE. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have the blue Protoss player representing Team Liquid. Down in the series, we'll see if he can bounce back and force that ace match. It is SKillous. We go. There we go. So, just opening up the door. Opening up the door. But here we go. We are settling into our PvP. So far, so good. Again, we didn't really have anything too crazy last game outside of the opener, outside of the Stargates. Or really, I guess what it came down to was the lack of scouting and the lack of vision of SKillous. Unfortunately, he just didn't know that ShoWTimE also went for a Stargate opener. So SKillous, he was blindly going for the Oracle, and unfortunately, he got shut down. As we get into game number 2, we have a 2-gate opener. 2-gate opener out of ShoWTimE, likewise 2-gate opener out of SKillous as well. Mirrored builds. So far, so good. Do you have our mirrored builds? From here, we'll see if we go for any tech first, like a Twilight Council or Stargates, or if we go for a faster Nexus. Could even see something more committed. Players have their eyes open. Both players checking, scouting. They confirm the positioning of the second pylon. They confirm that there is no proxy. Not yet. As when it comes to our openers, we do have sentries on the way, Stalker as well from ShoWTimE. Meanwhile, we did skip the Stalker here, and we can see SKillous has excess minerals, but alas, yeah, will not be able to expand. Not yet. Here comes that pylon block. But this time he will scout with the hallucination. This is something that we didn't quite get to see last game. As both players do expand. Both players take their naturals. They're just confirming whether there's any earlier attack. And there it is, a Robo Opener out of SKillous. The Robo thrown down just under that hallucination. Meanwhile, Twilight counts on ShoWTimE, so we do deviate here. We have a different setup. We have ShoWTimE going for Blink. We have SKillous going for Immortals. Now, when it comes to this Robo-based opener, this is typically a lot safer, a lot more defensive, at least early on, to get into early Immortal production. Of course, SKillous, he will forego any kind of map control, as he's going to be stuck at home instead. Meanwhile, ShoWTimE, he does push in early on with these 3 Stalkers. Does have that Stalker lead. Ooh, shield battery goes down. And before we can even think about that Immortal, ShoWTimE is going for the kill. He's going for the throw to force fields that lock down some hallucinations. No major pickoffs. ShoWTimE is going in. Oh my god, he locks down the sentries. And that might just be it. That might just be it. That might just be game. Sentries are going down. There's no shield battery. Brutal pickoffs. Stalker's about to warp in. But we still have reinforcements on the way. We have another force field for that ramp. And do we get the force field? Not quite. Sentry goes down. Going for the Guardian Shield instead. Ay. Brutal losses, brutal pickoffs. ShoWTimE still just rallying across the map. He's not stopping. Going for the pylon as well. And the Robo's going to get depowered. No shot. One more volley. He's so close. The warp-in finishes. Oh my god. Getting very clutch, very close. Warp-in does complete. Stalker goes down. Boys are being pulled. Can he snipe the pylon? One more volley. He gets it. The Immortal is not going to pop out, and before we can even get into the game, GG gets called, and ShoWTimE, he will pop off, he will take the series 2-0. He will advance on to the grand finals. GG. Whew, GG, well played. Again, just really early aggression there from ShoWTimE. He did skip his second and third sentry, at least initially. He did instead open up with the extra Stalkers. He moved out across the map, and he caught SKillous with his pants down. SKillous, he was barely not ready with that shield battery. It was thrown down a little bit later. Likewise, he wasn't quite expecting the army to rock up when it did, and we saw some big snipes early on from ShoWTimE catching out those sentries and taking over the natural. And unfortunately, the Robo was at the natural, right? The Robo was exposed. The Robo had the one pylon powering it, and once it went down, GG. GG, well played. Whew. A much more aggressive side of ShoWTimE gets showcased here, and ShoWTimE, he will advance on to those grand finals, waiting for the winner of ByuN and Gerald. Let's go. Let us go. ByuN versus Gerald about to get underway. At least I assume so. We mentioned before that this is a bit of an awkward weekly for us today. It is a little bit awkward, and it is a bit of a shame. Basically, on the one hand, it's really exciting. It's really exciting because we do have... because for the first time, we're able to feature a greater prize pool. Our prize pool has been increased thanks to the support on Patreon, by the way. Thank you so much to all of our patrons. We do appreciate it. We did get a lot of support leading up to, throughout this year, actually. Just reaching goal after goal, and we do have a boosted prize pool. We do pay out top 4, so thank you so much. And because of that, we didn't want to postpone today's events. You know, every single week we're here on Sundays, but specifically this week, Wardy is also hosting a qualifier. It is the final qualifier for his big seasonal event, so a lot of players are, of course, looking to prioritize that. That's why we had a walkover earlier. You can actually see it on the brackets, and I don't blame the players whatsoever, right? Like, again, like, I'm sure they want to play it as much as they can. So we saw that Gerald, he had a walkover over SHOWTimE, and SKillous got a walkover over Gerald. So SHOWTimE and Nicoract, they did forfeit in favor of playing in that qualifier. And I bring that up just because Gerald, he is also playing in the qualifier. He's also actually currently playing in against Young Yakov, I believe, in that qualifier, and because of that, there might also be a forfeit here in the semifinals as well. It is unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. Again, it's sometimes what happens when we have these overlapping events. But again, especially because we reached our goals on Patreon, we didn't want to like just skip a week. It felt a little bit weird to skip a week, especially because we are already skipping a week later. I believe in a couple of weeks, Easter actually does coincide with our tournament, so we're going to be, you know, skipping a week of Sparkling Tuna Cup for the Easter holidays. And we didn't want to skip 2 weeks, especially on the 1 month that we do have a boosted prize pool. So, alas, it's a little bit unfortunate that that qualifier is overlapping with our event, and because of that, we might see another walkover. If I survived a little more, I could have made it to the semis. True. Aye. Oh no. So that might occur here. Of course, there's still a little bit of time. There's still a little bit of time, but it's kind of a weird thing. Basically, I believe Gerald, he has a little bit of time before we do issue the walkover. But he's currently mid-series against Young Yakov, and the reality is that I'm sure Gerald, he would want to probably continue to compete in that qualifier as well. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. See what does occur. Otherwise, we're going to be getting ready here for our matches. We're going to be going on a short break. This also does give us an opportunity to get ready for the random raffle as well. We do have a random raffle for our players, for our participants, and we'll be able to get into that momentarily. We will get there. For now, though, we're going to be going on a short break, and when we come back, we'll have our next series, we'll have our next match. See you soon after this break. Take this time, get some snacks, get some food, get some water, train your disruptors, and we'll see you guys in a couple of minutes. Help. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the Sparkling Tuna Cup number 87, your weekly dose of Tuna Cup action. I apologize for the delayed start or for the extended break, but we are here, we are back. Also, during the break, big shout out, thank you so much to Fiant. Thank you so much to Fiant for the raid of 69. Nice. Thank you so much. Hope you had a great time. Hope you had a great time. Hope you had a great time streaming, laddering. Meanwhile, also shout out to Slow Joe in the chat as well. Oh my god, Esther Slow Joe, thank you so much for subscribing for 7 months. Haven't seen you around for a while, but thank you so much for the support for over half a year of support. Thank you so much. As we have some updates here, for those that are curious why there was some downtime, Gerald, he is currently playing in a qualifier. He's playing in the ShoWTimE Spring qualifier at the moment, and because of that, Gerald, he has been unavailable to play in his match. ByuN and Gerald are slated to face off in the semi-finals. But of course, the Spring Championship does take priority. It's a big event. It's a big online tournament. It is the qualifier, of course, for the championship, and Gerald has a good chance to make it through. He has a really good chance to make it through, so I don't blame him for playing in that event whatsoever. If he can get away with playing in both, then again, of course, he will. When it comes to the rest of the players, though, they actually have already qualified for the Spring Championship. SKillous, ByuN, ShoWTimE, they already qualified, so they didn't really have any concern. They didn't have any concern to like play in both events or anything like that. But Gerald, you know, he's a grinder. He's on that grind. He's trying to make it through. And best of luck. Best of luck. Right now, he's facing off against Gabe, and he's actually up 1-0. He's up 1-0 against Gabe. But I'm not the most comfortable when it comes to forcing our players to wait. I'm referring to ByuN and ShoWTimE. I'm not too comfortable forcing them to wait and forcing them to, just because we don't really know how long Gerald's series is going to be. I mean, we've already waited 15 minutes. It could take half an hour, could take even longer. It gets complicated as well, because if Gerald takes down ByuN and if they advance on, then it just gets more complicated, and it's so yeah, because of that, there is going to be a walkover. Going to be issuing a walkover here, and because of that, ShoWTimE and ByuN will now face off for the grand finals. It's not ideal. It is not ideal, and you know, ideally we would have had a bit of a cleaner broadcast, but there were a lot of walkovers. A little bit unfortunate that our events did overlap, but in the end, you know, the show must go on. It's time. It's ShoWTimE. Let's go. Before that, though, before we do get into the grand finals, we do have something else ahead of us here. We have the random raffle as well. As we do switch things over, we have a random participation raffle. 21 players did compete here tonight, and to be eligible, you have to have played at least your first series. We did have some walkovers, that is true. We had walkover for Gerald also walked over, Shameless and Nicoract as well, but despite that, they're still eligible here for that random participation raffle. And this week, the random raffle goes to Tior, the, I believe, Ukrainian Zerg player. GG, well played. Congratulations here to Tior, as he does Tier, aka Dwarf, does win the random raffle this week. Again, congratulations. Shout out to Azura, shout out to Ragnar, shout out to all the other runner-ups. So big shout out to Tier for Tier. There you go, for Tier for walking away 5 USD richer, as we do jump into our grand finals. Here we go. And again, best of luck to Gerald. Big Gerald fan, and I want him to do well. He's currently doing well against Gabe, so wish him the best, and hopefully he can qualify for the ShoWTimE Spring Championship. No ill will. No, Gerald, he's a regular in our tournaments, and the reality is that our event is a weekly, and ShoWTime's qualifier leads into a greater event, into a greater tournament, so it does make sense for Gerald to prioritize that. It's all good. For now, though, we are jumping into our grand finals, jumping into our best of 5, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Whispers of Gold, we have the blue Terran player. We have the South Korean Terran representing Shopify. It is ByuN. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss player from Germany. It is ShoWTimE. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamma time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we jump into our best of 5 TVP. And coming into this, ByuN, he is a previous Tuna Cup champion. ShoWTimE has never played in our tournaments before. This is his first foray into the pond, into the Tuna. And will he come out victorious? Will ShoWTimE walk that royal road? Or will ByuN knock him down and claim that Tuna even once again? Let's go. Let us go. So now we are settling in. So far going to be Gate Cyber Expand, standard opener here out of ShoWTimE. Likewise, ByuN across the map going for his own standard opener as well. Single gas, Rax, Expand. It's going to be Rax Expand, so far so good. We're getting into an economic game stage as we load into Whispers of Gold. Now, welcome one and all to one of the smaller maps in the map pool. Very small map, very short rush distance by ground. Aggression is favored on this map. At the same time, though, ShoWTimE is known for his defensive play. He's known for his defensive prowess. We'll see if ShoWTimE will be broken. We'll see if ShoWTimE can survive the aggression of ByuN. Let's go. Let's go. What I appreciate out of ByuN when it comes to this matchup is just how active and how aggressive he can be. Very drop heavy, very bio heavy, very intense when it comes to the multi-prong aggression. He can be very difficult to keep up with, and we'll see if ShoWTimE can keep up, assuming that ByuN goes for that style. We'll see. We shall see. Shout out to those in chat. Again, shout out to Slowjo, alongside Megoeta, Time. Again, shout out once again to Fiant for the raid. Again, hope you guys had a great time over on Fiant's stream. And hopefully next time Fiant can play in a Tuna Cup, it would be nice to have some Zerg. You know, we had Matt, and I appreciate Matt, but, you know, it'd be nice to sprinkle in a couple other Zerg players every now and then. Yeah, it would be nice. So, Smooch, man. Smooch. Meanwhile, the first adept does get across the map. It does get a 1 SCV kill. Does delay the CC. Delay. ShoWTimE pulls out. And of course, across the map, we do have our standard opener here, getting into our Twilight Council, getting into Blink, and getting into our tech of choice. So Blink-based opener out of ShoWTimE. We'll keep an eye on the gateway count. We'll see if he goes up to 2, 3, 4 gateways. We'll see how aggressive ShoWTimE plans on being. Meanwhile, from the side of ByuN, getting ready for his own drop play. Now, what is interesting to me is that ByuN didn't open up Widowmine. There's no Widowmine, there's no extra Hellions either. It's going to be an interesting drop here of what, a Hellion, maybe a couple of Marines. I say a couple of Marines, a decent amount. Let's go, going for the Marine drop. And we'll see how many probes ByuN can get. Oh, as he does catch the Adept, or the Adept catches ByuN. As it will barely shade away. Good reaction here by ShoWTimE, does pull out. Hellion is here to intercept. One more volley. Oh, can he get one more? Oh, barely can. Oof, we'll trade out though Hellion for Adept. ByuN is somewhat punished. And ByuN, he's still trying to be active, but bearing in mind these are vanilla Marines. Remember, there's no stim. There's no stim, there's no combat shield, there's no upgrades on this bio army. Here we go. As we do have a third gateway here, it's going to be 3-gate Blink. 3-gate Blink at a ShoWTimE. A bit of a safer start. 3-gate Blink into a third base, so very safe, very defensive here from ShoWTimE. Looking to secure himself, looking to make sure he's able to get away with that third base. Meanwhile, ByuN back at home is building up. He's building up instead, throwing down extra Raxes, Factory, Starport, Stim is on the way. ByuN, he shouldn't push out without Stim, so he's going to be stuck at home, and ShoWTimE will gain map control. He will rankle map control away from ByuN, at least until these upgrades finish. Once they do, then ByuN can move out, and ByuN can expand, or even commit to an all-in. It's a little bit too early to really assume that. We'll keep an eye on the Raxes here of ByuN. We'll see if he throws down additional Raxes or not. So far, we do see ShoWTimE picking up some free Marines, not bad. Does get 2 Marine kills. Again, Stim is only halfway done, so this is a very early push out of ByuN. This is not normal, this is not standard. The law states you only push with Stim, papi. This is illegal. It is illegal for a reason, and a tank is going to get picked up. Thankfully, ByuN, he does react in time, who takes down a Stalker. Tank takes a couple of hits. Stalkers are coming from both ends. So far, ByuN, he does maintain his army, takes a couple of extra shots. Ooh, picks off another Stalker. Nice pickup. Nicely done here by ByuN. Still committing across the map. Catching out an Adept. Shield Battery is still not done. I mean, again, this is a bit of an earlier move out. ShoWTimE is not ready for it, and ByuN, he doesn't get within range here of the Nexus. Very early push, and so far successful. ShoWTimE trying to catch any reinforcements. ByuN, he's rallying across the map. Would you blink in? He gets one. Takes out one tank, takes down the second tank as well. ByuN, he does somewhat punish, but he's running out of steam here. The tanks go down, the MindelVK as well. Oh, Stim is done though. Stim is done. ByuN trying to trade, but ShoWTimE holds. Whew. And what was the trades looking like here? ShoWTimE, he lost what? He lost 8 Stalkers in total, but he keeps the base alive. He keeps the Nexus alive. He does preserve the mineral line as well. Takes down 2 tanks, a MindelVK, 16 Marines. This was a very early push here by ByuN. It was risky. It was illegal. And we see why ShoWTimE does shut it down. Now he's getting ready for the mid game. The Colossus has arrived. With the help of the Colossus, this next push shouldn't get much done. It's a shield battery, there's some force fields. Now, the Stalker count is very low. True, the Stalker count is very low here because of those trades, so there's not that much support for the Colossus. ByuN stims in, he wants the Colossus, he wants him. Oh, he does sneak up. Yeah, he does sneak up, and a massive pick-off here. The Colossus does go down. Late reaction from ShoWTimE. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, late reaction. Did not pull away in time. And ShoWTimE, he's in trouble here. He's in trouble. He's in danger. As he has to rebuild that Colossus, getting into his upgrades, getting into 1-1. ByuN still sharking around. Just hyper-aggression out of ByuN. He sees an army, he's gonna dive in. He just wants to get in, but once again rotating in between the bases. He gets spotted. Doesn't get spotted, stims once again. There's just barely any support. He wants a Colossus, and he's gonna get it. He stims and he wins. We have a defensive warp in, but one more volley, Colossus goes down, and ByuN has done it. ByuN has done it. He has broken ShoWTimE. As ShoWTimE is down to a couple of Zealots, a couple of Stalkers, mine shots going off. Oof. See ByuN repositioning, reburrowing, still rallying. GG gets called, and ByuN, he will overwhelm. ByuN will take game number 1. Whew. GG. He will take a lead in the series. Again, a very intense game. ByuN with an early push did fail to break the third base, but he did kill 8 Stalkers. And it may not seem like a big deal. It's like, oh, but the third base was saved. True, but you saw that because the Stalker count was low, the Colossus were exposed. You saw that there was that much less to protect the Colossus and to stop ByuN from stimming in and from just pouncing on those Colossus time and time and time again. It all just built up over time, or I should say the lack of units, the lack of support, did snowball out of control there in favor of ByuN. And with that, ByuN, he does take a lead. And now we're jumping into game number 2. Let's go. I should also emphasize that this move out from ByuN is more viable on Whispers of Gold. If you remember, at the start of the game, we were trying to emphasize just how small the map is and how aggression is favored on Whispers of Gold, more so than on other maps. More so than on this map, on Amygdala. As spawning in the top right hand corner of Amygdala, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing Shopify, leading the series 1-0. It is ByuN. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss player. We have the red Protoss himself from the land of Germany. It is ShoWTimE. We go. And on a map as large as Amygdala, I do not expect the same build out of ByuN. As a reminder, ByuN last game, he pushed out with 2 tanks as Stim was halfway done. It was only halfway done, and ByuN, he was able to wreak havoc, able to barely trade well enough. Here in Amygdala, the rush distance by ground is longer. It's a longer rush distance by ground. On top of that, the attack paths are very limited as well. Unlike on other maps, there's only 2. You have the southern path and you have the northern path, and that's it. That's all you got. The center of the map is completely walled off here by the rocks, by the tumors. In a later game, this all opens up. True, it does all open up, and it makes it easier to rotate in between the bases. But in the early to mid game, that is not the case. It's not the case, and because of that, it is easier to scout and easier to slow down a move out. So as a result, Amygdala is known for longer games, known for longer setups. We do see once again ByuN opening up with a single gas into a faster command center. Meanwhile, ShoWTimE gate expand into Cyberhawk. Greedier build here by ShoWTimE. Likewise, economic build by ByuN. So far, so good. Ooh, as the CC is forced off center. Of course, it can always lift and land, but it is going to be a slight annoyance here for ByuN. Technically, there is a chance that maybe ShoWTimE can open up a depth first and shade across the map and try to get under the CC, but again, because of how large Amygdala is, I don't know if that can really line up as well, and I don't know if that'll be possible. Yeah, especially with the delayed Cybercore, because it was Cybercore after the Nexus. And it is going to be Stalker first anyway. Meanwhile, we can see ByuN is scouting, checking for proxies. Just check the linear third. Checks towards the left before pulling away. ByuN just being safe. Just catching up with the chat. The Colossus got caught with his pants down. It's true. It takes a long time to lift those pants up. The Colossus, they got some long legs. Long legs. Ah. Once again, Twilight Council open out of ShoWTimE. Once again, going to be Blink. Last game, it was 3-gate Blink into a third base, and we expect something similar. I say similar, again, on a larger map, we could see a greedier build. We could see 2-gate Blink into a third instead. So we'll see if ShoWTimE throws down an extra gateway or not. Now he's getting up to 2 gates, and there it is. He throws down another gateway. So safe opener, 3-gate Blink out of ShoWTimE. Meanwhile, ByuN across the map going for his own medevac once again. Now, just like the previous game, this will not be a Widowmine drop. This actually looks like a similar setup here, where we are building up Bio Army. There's only one Hellion. Now the Hellion's on the way. But we'll see what ByuN can get done with this drop, with this early move out. As it is going to be Vanilla Marines, no stim. Marines, they can trade still relatively well, though. They can pick off workers. They can pick off probes. Drop moves out, but the hallucination will spot this. Does spot this. Does confirm. You can see ShoWTimE, he does come in for the intercept. Oh. Will deflect. Does force the unload. Medevac taking a couple of hits. Does take a couple of hits. Stalkers, they back up. So far, 2 probe heals. Yes, Hellies, they get into the mineral line. Oh my god. Yeah, 5 probes going down. Getting 5, getting up 6, getting up to 7. And he shouldn't get much more than that, as another volley does not quite connect. But a very nice distraction here. I mean, we were distracted as well. All attention was on the medevac, not on the Hellions, and that was well worth it here. That was how many? That was 3 Hellions for 7 probes. Well worth it for ByuN. He pulls away, comes out ahead. As he pulls back home, we do have our tank production out on top as well. Prioritization of tanks. Pulling up his bio. ShoWTimE will gain map control, but the reality is that ShoWTimE, after sustaining those losses, he needs more. He needs more than just map control. Let's see if he can get it. Oh. So here we go. ShoWTimE blinks into the main. He gets an SCV. He delays one of the Raxes. And again, he's hoping for a little bit more value here. That does engage. Forcing back the army at the same time. Auto target across the map. Stalkers, they poke in, but all Stalkers are going to be going down. Oh my god, no! 3 Stalkers rally in. A big loss here for ShoWTimE. Ay, ay, ay. Not looking too good. As he doesn't really get much for that. It's not the biggest loss, but it does add up over time. So that's going to be 3 Stalkers going down. I mean, a good example of that is game 1. Remember, because the Stalker losses early, that meant that the Colossus was more vulnerable. So we do need to preserve these Stalkers. They have to be preserved. Likewise, ShoWTimE expanding across the map, getting his 3rd. Likewise, we do see ShoWTimE, instead of rushing into Colossus, what do we see? +1 in charge. So a much more standard, much more meta follow-up here. We're going to be delaying, we're not skipping, we're just going to be delaying Colossus. Colossus that will come into play once the third base is going to be saturated. Actually, before we go for the Bay, that is going to be a Dark Shrine. Interesting choice here from ShoWTimE. Oh, it's a medevac. Takes down a medevac. ShoWTimE does pull away. Raven getting picked up. So nice snipe here on the Raven. The Raven did not really get much done. Maybe got one probe if that. Maybe just a couple of probe kills. Maybe 2 in total. ByuN's moving in. Stim is finishing up in 10 seconds. The Dark Shrine can be a great comeback tool here. Comeback tool for ShoWTimE. But before we can talk about the Dark Shrine, we have to talk about this one push. As Stim is done. Stim's complete. Getting to +1. Tank Boy is going off. Widowmine's Agent Burrow. Zelsay attempts to charge in. Zelsay go down instantly. The Immortal's under fire. Oh, and ShoWTimE is bleeding out far too much here. Shots to line shots. Brutal connections. Yes, Zelsay melted. He's been broken. GG gets called before the Dark Shrine comes into play. ByuN, he will overwhelm, and ByuN takes a 2-0 lead. Whew, GG. Again, ByuN, he had a very strong start, winding it back. As a reminder, he got 7 probe kills with his 3 Hellions, and the pressure was on ShoWTimE to do some counter damage, and he failed to do any damage. He got 1 SCV, he lost 3 Stalkers, he didn't get much damage done. We saw ShoWTimE going for a bit of a Hail Mary play, going for the Dark Shrine follow-up, of course, but alas, we saw that ByuN, he was so quick to move out. And what's important as well with these move outs is that these are earlier than normal. If you notice, ByuN, he's breaking out of these contains and pushing across the map when his sim is halfway done. It happened in game 1, it's happening here in game 2 as well. And because of ShoWTimE's shaky early game, he did not have enough Stalkers to slow down the push. He did not have enough to slow down and to get any meaningful damage as ByuN was pushing across the map. By the time he got there, again, it's just a really brutal timing, and ShoWTimE could not defend. He could not defend. And here we go, we're now getting into game number 3, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have our South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran, leading the series 2-0. 1 game away from taking the entire series and becoming our champion for Shopify. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the red Protoss player. Down in the series, he's had a bit of a rough start here, both in game 1 and in game 2. We'll see if he can bring it back and start the comeback. From the land of Germany, it is ShoWTimE. Here we go. As again, that last game, he had a very brutal start, losing all of those workers. Likewise, that last game, bleeding out all those Stalkers as well in the defense. And we'll see if ShoWTimE can recover here. Despite these safe openers as well, bearing in mind, both in game 1 and in game 2, we did have a triple Stalker opener out of ShoWTimE, but time and time again, just caught a little bit off guard. Caught unawares. And here he does have to tighten up. Otherwise, ByuN is just going to run away with this. And again, so far, it's been a relatively short series as well. Short games, I should say. Some very potent aggression out of ByuN early on, before ShoWTimE can really get going. As we have yet to really experience ShoWTimE on a 3-base economy, it just hasn't happened yet. We almost got there in game 1, but then it was torn apart. Here we go. But now, economic opener out of ByuN, racks expand, once again faster CC. And across the map we do have, interesting, a Sentry opener out of ShoWTimE. So a Sentry opener is a little bit safer. As you can imagine, we've spoken about this before, but in the latest patch, because of the energy overcharge, Sentry openers are a lot more commonplace against Terran and against Protoss. In those 2 matchups, Sentries, they can achieve so much, specifically when it comes to scouting. Sentry pops out, overcharge it gets spent, and we have the hallucination moving out across the map. With this hallucination, we're going to be able to confirm the timing of the CC. So now he knows CC first. He also is aware of the 111. He's aware of the add-ons. He does not know if a Hellion is on the way or a Widowmine is on the way, so he's a little bit in the dark as to the factory production, but he knows there's no add-on at least. As hallucination does run out just before he spots the Widowmine, it is going to be a Widowmine drop here, of course, from ByuN for the first time this series, actually. For the first time. Every other game is going for either a Marine drop or a Marine drop. it's both games was a very heavy bio drop across the map. Meanwhile, Twilight Council opener out of ShoWTimE, opening up Blink. How many gateways? He's got 1 gate in the main, he's got 1 gate at the natural, so far 2 gate Blink, and we're expecting a 3rd gateway to soon, yep, there it is, to soon be thrown down. There it is, 3rd gateway. So 3 gate Blink out of ShoWTimE. Overall, the build is the same. Did get here in a slightly different way with the Sentry. Stalkers fan out. The drop does skirt around the edge of the map. It's going to be triple Widowmines here from ByuN. The Stalkers will miss this. The hallucination will miss this as well. And ByuN moves in. Now, ideally, one distracts for the other. Ideally. As drop does boost into the mineral line, Stalker's in position, and this time we do react in time. But the Widowmine does borrow. Oh! Widowmine does borrow. Gets 2 probes. Likewise, drops into the main. ShoWTimE does pull away. Up! The probes! The probes! Up! Yes, get out! Does pull out. Oh my god. Does pull away in time. So far 3 probe kills, getting up to only 3. The other shot gets wasted. The Marines do not move in. They're just skirting around the edge. And in the end, ShoWTimE, he will defend. He will defend 3 Widowmines for 3 probes. Not the best damage here from ByuN. ShoWTimE holds. ByuN does get a full scout. He's fully aware of the build of his opponent, and ShoWTimE is moving out for a counterattack. Let's go. Only lost 3 workers. This time, ShoWTimE, his early game has been stronger than any other game previously. He can reinforce, he can move in, and we'll see what he can get done. Oof. Going for the add-on. That's a kill auto cancel. Yeah, nice snipe on the add-on. ByuN, he has to pull further back. A little bit too close to the edge of the main. ShoWTimE claiming his 3rd. Getting into charge. Getting into charge, getting to +1. Just like the previous game, ShoWTimE is delaying intentionally so a Colossus. So delay Colossus production out of ShoWTimE. Gets behind the mineral line, gets 3, 4 SCVs. Nice. Nice damage here from ShoWTimE. Gets 4 SCV kills. And again, he's just containing ByuN. And we'll see if ByuN moves out once again. As typically he has been going for this timing here to move out. 6 minutes. 6-minute move outs has been the go-to every game so far, and he does it again. The reason why I say 6 minutes is because, again, this is before stim. Before stim. And ShoWTimE, we've seen this before. ShoWTimE trying to slow this down. He gets 2 Marines. He gets 3. 3 Marines go down. ShoWTimE, he can try to go for a counterattack at the same time. Prism is off towards the right-hand side. Can get ready for a Zealot run by. Speaking of Zealots, they warping back at home. Oh, that's going to be a couple Stalkers going down. Zealots are going to be they're going to go down once again. Yeah, Zealots are being cleaned up. Oh, a tank is going to fall. Nice pickoff, but there's not really much left over to defend. There's no shield batteries here. The Prism is racing back home. And ShoWTimE is in trouble. Ay, ay, ay. Once again, barely not ready for this. They'll take down the medevac at least. Oh my god, the tank boys are brutal. Yeah, nice target firing with the tank. The Immortal's going to be targeted, and ByuN, 3 games in a row, no shot, the same push, the same timing, he breaks through. The tank is still barely alive, massive shots going off. Zealots go down, Stalkers as well. The tank finally falls, but GG gets called. ByuN, he breaks through, and he will claim the series 3-0. GG. GG, well played. The same move at the same timing 3 games in a row. Different responses, of course, from ShoWTimE in each game. But, yeah, very impressive. Very impressive there by ByuN. Unfortunately, ShoWTimE, he wasn't quite ready back at home. I don't think he was really expecting it to be as menacing as it was. Just winding it back a little bit, when it came to that timing, ByuN, he did move out once again at around 6 minutes. Again, pre-stim, he did push, and it was on ShoWTimE to try to slow it down. He didn't warp in additional stalkers, though. He was getting into a zealot follow-up. Unfortunately, just wasn't quite ready for it, in the sense that charge finished up after the army was already at his front door. It did look like ShoWTimE, he was tentative about warping in defensively. If you remember, ShoWTimE, as the push was coming, he was controlling that prism across the map. It looked like he was holding onto his warp in to harass across the map. It looks like that's what he was getting ready for. So he was holding onto that warp in. Alas, in the end, he had to spend it back at home. But it did feel like a little bit of a later reaction to that. And yeah, ByuN, he broke through. He broke through in the end. Game 1, I want to say, was the strongest game for ShoWTimE, where he opened up Colossus. And if you remember, ShoWTimE, he did defend the first wave, but it was the second wave that killed him, because he did lose too much, right? That was on Whispers of Gold. But here in Game 2 and Game 3, very impressive, very aggressive builds here by ByuN. Did barely break ShoWTimE. GG. GG. Oh god. GG, well played. But a shout out to ShoWTimE, because again, he did compete for the first time in our tournaments. Very first time. This is missing ByuN. But did compete for the first time in our tournaments, and he had a really strong performance as well. Alas, unfortunately, again, today's tournament was a little bit shaky, and it should be like, we should be smooth sailings from for our future weeklies. Again, unfortunately, a lot of walkovers when it comes to the semifinals, quarterfinals as well. It's just that there was a qualifier that was going over our events, and that shouldn't be the case next time. So again, it should be a little bit cleaner, and we should be able to enjoy our tournament without much really slowing us down next time. Should be okay. Should be okay. Regardless, GG well played. And again, a big shout out to ShoWTimE for competing for the first time, and hopefully not for the last time either. Hopefully he's able to join us and embrace some more Tuna Cup action. Would love to see it. Would love to see it here. Some more ShoWTimE, SKillous, ByuN, Gerald. Again, a lot of our regulars, and potentially a new regular as well. Potentially. Regardless, GG well played. And again, when it comes to our next events, Sparkling Tuna Cup is a weekly tournament, and again, it is funded by the community, for the community. So thank you so much to all of our patrons for supporting us. Of course, Tier did win the random raffle earlier, but I did want to touch on our Patreon, just because we did reach a new goal. And that's also why we still wanted to host our event, to help support players that won't be, or that aren't competing in the qualifier. Is that now we pay out top 4 players are paid out thanks to the support on Patreon. Thanks to our patrons, we have reached our new goal, and we have another goal that has been set. So at 500 USD, that is to boost the prize pool even further for the Sparkling Tuna Cup. So to boost it even further, right now we have reached our goals regarding moving our amateur events to the main space. So that is happening this month. And of course, for Sparkling Tuna Cup, now paying out top 4 instead of just top 2. So thank you so much. I'm sure the players appreciate it as well. Thank you so much for all the support. And yeah, the Sparkling Tuna Cup is a weekly tournament, and we are live more than just once a week. Of course, we are live every single day, multiple times a day. We cast more than anyone else out there when it comes to StarCraft. All the content, all the casting. We have StarCraft Evolution League tomorrow morning. That is going to be in 11 hours. In 11 hours time, we're live with the StarCraft Evolution League. Wardy TV Monday also going to be tomorrow as well. I don't think it's been officially announced, but there should be a Wardy TV Monday. That'll be tomorrow evening. That's why there's currently an empty slot. We have Pegasaur Monday, we have the Enki show matches, we have Code for Giants Cup, Turtle Tussle, the Pondcast, HSL, Kung Fu Cup, Sparkling Tuna Cup. Plenty of content, plenty of StarCraft. So if you are interested, if you enjoyed the cast, if you want some more StarCraft content, that we got you covered on the channel, do follow. Do consider following us. Again, we cast more than any other channel out there. We have the quantity and we have a little bit of the quality as well. I do apologize for the shorter broadcast today and for the shaky broadcast, but should be smooth sailings for the rest of the month. I said this before, but to reiterate, the weekend of Easter, we are going to be taking that weekend off when it comes to the Sparkling Tuna Cup, just because, of course, players are going to be spending time with their families, our admins and other people behind the scenes going to be spending time with their families as well. I'm probably still going to be here casting, I'll be honest, but no Sparkling Tuna Cup on the weekend of Easter, just as a heads up, on the Easter weekend. Just as a heads up. But regardless, GG, well played. Do look forward to tuning in to some more content, more StarCraft later on. I'm gonna have to double check with the Wardy TV Monday, because it's possible that Wardy might be replacing that with some Spring Championship related stuff that I'm not so sure about. No, yeah, should be fine. But we'll see. We shall see. So basically, I just checked. There is no Wardy TV Monday brackets for tomorrow. So for now, that's why it's currently empty. But if it goes through, then we'll be there for it. We'll be there for the Wardy TV Monday. That's going to be in 24 hours. 24 hours time. Otherwise, there might be something Spring Championship related. We'll see. We'll see. Regardless, still plenty of content, as always, on the CranKy Ducklings. Wardy said he was about to do the signups for the Monday on his stream. Oh, there you go. There you go. There you go. That's why we were a little bit concerned that it might not occur. But thanks for letting us know. Thank you, Mr. Calculon, for letting us know. Thank you for the calculations. But yeah, so we will add that to our calendar. As we'll be there, of course, we'll be there. Speed, Randy. Just catching up. But yeah, otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. If you want to help support us, you can do so via some of our other avenues. Of course, we do have our social medias. We do have our YouTube channel. We do upload on YouTube on a daily basis. There's plenty of content on YouTube. Likewise, we have our Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We have Discord. We have all things CranKy Ducklings. Again, our Patreon is the place to be to support us, to help us reach some greater goals and some greater accolades, and to grow our events even further. That's all done via Patreon. Otherwise, something that I should have mentioned is that if you want to help support this tournament via Matcherino, you can do so via that link as well. ! Matcherino in the chat. We have a Matcherino page for every single Sparkling Tuna Cup. We don't have any codes. Our event isn't large enough to allow us to get any codes for our tournaments. But you can help boost the prize pool for each weekly if you wish via Matcherino, as all the payouts are done via Matcherino as well. So you can help support us there. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. We're going to be giving another StarCraft streamer a raid. We are done for the time being, and we'll be back tomorrow with the Wardy TV Monday, and tomorrow with the StarCraft Evolution League number 9 as well. So plenty of content, plenty of StarCraft to come. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys tomorrow for some more StarCraft. Until then, take care. Hasta luego. Have a great weekend. Have a great end of your weekend, start of the next week, and enjoy StarCraft. See you then. Ciao, papi. Ciao.